Welcome to Euroforum UG, where we address Ugandans from Europe, USA, Asia, Africa, Australia, and all over the globe. We share experiences, opinions, and expertise on current affairs, educative lifestyle, religion, and family matters. Follow, subscribe, and like our social media platforms: Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok at Euroforum UG. You can also join our live shows every weekend on our social media platforms. For more information, visit our social media platforms or email us at euroforumug@gmail.com or WhatsApp us on +4740 574040. Euroforum UG, communicating with peers.
As we count our blessings and naming them one by one, today we are thankful and grateful for the gift of today. We are delighted to be one of those still living today on the 31st of August. Euroforum, your platform where we communicate with peers. We are here today, and Moses Mugisha is your host. I'm here in Oslo, Norway, the country of the Vikings, a country known for having the largest sculpture park in the world. For that, we are very proud. We are delighted to be of service to you. Today marks another day where we've chosen to take another stride into serving you. And we are not any further than here in the Scandinavian, where we are going to host a lady residing in Denmark. She's a lady called Moureen Melody Nagitta. She has a lady with several codes of service, and it is a great pleasure to have a conversation on her story. 5 years in Denmark, she had already achieved a couple of things that seem to be hard for many to achieve. We are yet to know if it's a story for her to be very proud of and bragging about, or it's a story where she's giving a testimony and throwing out those spots of inspiration. As an immigrant and a resident of Norway, I want to add my voice to the so many voices to condole with the family and friends of the late Tamima, a young lady, 34 years old, that was stabbed to death by a coward, called him a coward, days back. She was laid to rest on Friday. News went around Norway, and many people were moved, definitely moved. And I want to send a message of condolence to the family and friends of the late. But also, as an immigrant and a concerned resident of Norway, I want to shine a light on this and call upon our policymakers. No doubt, Norway is one of the safest countries in the world. But when such tragedies start taking space, words like safety and inclusion might remain only propositional. So on this note, I pray and call upon our policymakers to curb such vices so that the very good image of peace in Norway doesn't get tainted by such terrorist acts. On another note, I want to congratulate the Ugandan team that participated in the Homeless World Cup here in Oslo, Norway, that was concluded yesterday. There is a team of young ladies who played extremely well. They played 12 games and they won every single game. I want to congratulate you all. Special appreciation to the leaders, Lona, Stiga, and Joseph, who led the team, and of course the players and the very big management of the team back home in Uganda. Thank you all, you are supporters of the Ugandan community, friends and fans, who gave these ladies a very warm boost and campaign. I want to come back to the show of discussion today. Today we want to tap into a story. It's a question of what we pick from people's stories. Moureen Melody Nagitta is our very amazing guest today. She's a lady, like I said, with several quotes. I see her there very relaxed and very eager to inspire a life out there. Moureen, what an honor to have you on the panel today. May you please greet our viewers?
The privilege is all mine. Good evening, good afternoon from wherever you are, and good morning from those who are in North and Southern America. I am privileged to be a part of this wonderful venture by the Euroforum. My name is Moureen Melody Nagitta. I am a Ugandan residing in Denmark. I am Mganda by tribe. And yeah, I think that's all I can say for now. But thank you so much for having me, and greetings to you too, Moses Mogesha. So back to you.
Thank you so much, Maureen. It's like I said, it's a pleasure having you around. Yes, there is so much known about you, but also when we get a chance to host you, we then get a great opportunity to hear things direct, like you said, direct from the host's mouth. I want to appeal to you, residents and particular immigrants out there living in Norway. Just days away from now, it will be general elections in Norway. Statistics from the previous elections, that was in 2021, showed that 50% of immigrants with voting rights never voted. And again, as we complain about stuff, as we want things to be done the way we wish to, the best way we would love them to be, there is no way you can impact leadership if you don't participate in voting. That was a very big one to you living in Norway. Take part in the leadership of your country. Moureen.
Yes, please.
How long have you lived in Denmark?
It's approaching to 9 years.
9 years.
Approaching to 9 years. It will be 9 years in December.
Okay, nice. Go close, about 9 years. Okay,
yeah,
now.
About 9 years, yeah.
Yes, to you watching us, we are live on YouTube and Facebook. The story that prompted this show was a story of Moureen in 5 years, for the first 5 years in Denmark. That was the prompter of this conversation. 5 years, she had bought a house. She had acquired a bachelor's. This bachelor's was started and completed within that phase of time. And to us, knowing that she was a mother by then, and of course a married woman, that was also a responsibility of its own, a minister, and also working on the side. This arouses curiosity. How did she attain that? That's what we need to hear. And please invite a friend to invite another friend to come and interact. We share inspirations. As we tap into people's stories, we get inspired. We learn things, but also personal knowledge. Moureen, yes, you said you're Uganda, and you definitely have lived in Uganda for some time. But before you left Uganda, what were you doing?
I left in Uganda in 2009. Firstly, I have been in and out Uganda, and I've been to several countries. But I was a student at Makerere University, Faculty of Arts, Geography Department, and I was a freshman doing a bachelor's degree in urban planning, something which I did not finish for reasons that I may not go back into. So I applied for a short scholarship for a short course in New Zealand, Australia. It lasted 6 months, and I could not extend my visa besides that. So I again signed up for another scholarship in China, Zhejiang province, and that's where I did my first associate degree in a university called Zhejiang University of Science and Technology. So I was a student and maybe working part-time, coming from background which did not have a lot of money. I did some sales in a clothing store, man about town. I had a printing machine at Masaku Hostel because I used to live there until when I could not afford it, I moved into Farena Hostel. Then towards the end, when I was moving abroad, what did I do? Yeah, the first period before I moved abroad for my education. That's pretty much what I do, like somebody in their senior 6 vacation.
Thank you, Moureen. As I perceive you left Uganda purposely for studies.
Yes.
Yes, I see New Zealand, China, and now Denmark.
No.
Okay. There was New Zealand, China. Did I miss
China,
something?
United Kingdom,
Ah,
after my
UK.
associates, and then back to Uganda, and then
That's
came to
Uganda.
Denmark. Yeah.
Okay. So the trail is Uganda, New Zealand for studies, China for further
Yeah.
studies,
Mm.
UK for further studies,
No,
back to
UK. I went there with my then boyfriend.
okay, sorry about that. So UK and
Mm.
then back to
Back
Uganda
to
and then
Uganda because I
Denmark.
could not get the residence in the UK. I stayed in Uganda for a period of 1 year, and then I came to Denmark. And when I came to Denmark, it's been the country that gave me the warmest welcome. It was the country that gave me the longest residence. It is the country that I call home right now, and it's been a place where I am raising my children. I have grown also as a young woman to be even here to be able to share my story. Actually, it's been Denmark.
In Denmark. I can feel
Yeah.
it in your voice because when you mentioned New Zealand, it was just a hint. New Zealand, China, UK, Uganda, and you feel so relaxed speaking about Denmark.
Yeah, the other one was around.
It was a kind of a transition. Okay, now this story
There were
seems,
transitions.
yeah, transitions.
Mm.
So this story, I was actually about to ask how many countries you've lived, but it's very clear here that there are 4 countries, and of course your
As,
motherland.
as residents, yeah, but visiting, I have been like to 27.
27. Wow.
Mm. I am a nomad. I am a nomad. I am an evangelist.
Okay, and out of curiosity, these
Yeah.
27 countries, I
Mm.
mean, what were you going to do there?
First, when I was in China, I was pursuing my education, but also doing teaching English on the side as a second language. And during that period, as a Indulauchi, I met my then boyfriend. He was British. So for him, he was a businessman. And I moved from the hostels and I started to stay with him some of the times he was in the country. So whenever he would be traveling to other countries in Asia, Europe here, I would travel with him. That's how I ended up being able to visit many countries, but only on visas, not as a resident. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Maureen. I see there is so much from different countries, but I want to tie my curiosity to Denmark, where I see this story of ministry, education in a very short time, blending it with acquiring an apartment, which is in most cases very hard. In Uganda, still, let me start my curiosity. Which schools did you go to?
In Uganda, primary school, I went to Ambassadors of Good Hope. It was some mixed American school in Najanankumbi. And secondary school, I went to Central College. That was from senior 1 to senior 4 in Nateja. I don't know if it's still there, but it was not a good school. And high school, I went to Baptist High School in Chitebi on Entebbe Road. And then that was it. Then I went to Makerere University.
Okay, I see. At least there is a ground, and I'm sure if there is an OBO and OG watching you, then they can easily relate and see how far you've gone. The Moureen then and the Moureen currently. Okay, in Denmark, you've come to Denmark. But before we tap into your story, let's get to know you've acquired education. But you as an individual, what do you know yourself as?
I'm very resilient, grounded, down to earth. I'm not humble. I just have humility.
You're not humble, just have humility.
I have humility, yes, because humbleness is when somebody is always. I am not humble. I'm just an outspoken person with humility. Very respectful, loyal. I'm a person of integrity. It's a yes or no. There's no maybe. There's no in between. I am kind, and by the grace of God, I think I am a hand to many, a
Wow.
guide to many. Yeah.
Sounds like you know yourself well. You know the kind of vessel you're throwing out to the world. And you definitely have a very close circle who you think they know you in a way or the other. What do you think your close friends know you as?
My close friend, actually, I am strong to them, but a crybaby. Many people, they don't know that about me because they only see the side of my strength. I am consistent.
Consistency.
And I don't quit, but I'm also not afraid to quit if something is not working. I am spiritual, very intuitive. They would say I'm funny, humorous, and somebody you would say that is full of edutainment.
Entertainment.
Yes, I educate and also entertain. Multi-talented, yeah, I would say that. I'm sure they would say that.
Yes, and maybe I don't know you that closely, but at least for the time I've interacted with you, I would
Yeah.
add that you're very conscious on time. Because at least
Thank
we've
you.
made a couple of appointments, and I could feel that you're very conscious on time.
Thank you.
One thing that struck me really deeply is the consistency part. Of course, that is one thing I feel that people who are consistent, in most cases, they are achievers. Yeah, because everything
Yeah.
spins around that. You can easily start. A motivational speaker can energize you. After a month, you start a business, but consistency makes a difference between those who are energized and those who have achieved from that. Okay.
Yeah, because
Yes.
consistency is the foundation of discipline and diligence.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yes, Maureen, you have Nancha Gloria here. I will pin this message here. Nancha Gloria, thanks for tuning in. I see a message here. Yes, let them ask me. Mister, don't mention about time, okay?
Yeah, because I always beat her up with time. You don't find me if you miss time.
Yeah. So then I'll believe that I wasn't first to judge, because I already there's someone here
You
knowing
were
you.
right about that.
Yes. So Maureen, you have 5 years that have prompted us here to come and take a spot of your profile. When you came to Denmark, how was your first experience, your experience of Denmark, the first 2 years?
The first how many years?
The first 2 years in Denmark. Speak to me
Okay.
about your experience of Denmark, the first 2 years.
Okay, I am one of the lucky people who came to Denmark with an already processed residence permit, because I got to know about Denmark through a person. I can't say a friend, but acquaintance. I used to pray with her, and she saw that I had a mixed race baby. So she asked me, "Why are you in Uganda with a British child?" So I was like, "No, I was there, but because of ABCD, I could not get residence. So we decided to come back and stay at home." And she was like, "Have you tried other countries?" I was like, "No, I really don't want to go to other European countries because they don't speak English. And I wouldn't want to start all over again in a non-English speaking countries. I had been around and I had not find that interesting." So she said, there could be an opportunity. Maybe you could start in another European country and then move to the UK. So I checked on the internet that actually there was something called the syringe route, where if you have a EU family member, you could live in another EU country and then later move back as a family. And they would be no way they would deny your residence permit under different rules. And that were the EU rules, because the UK rules during the time of Theresa May were very, very bad towards spouse, partners, girlfriends. The requirements were almost hard to hit. So I came to Denmark, and so we got to check on the internet. So like I would ask around. Some people come through schools, but I don't know much about it because I'm not educated enough. Blah blah blah. So she sent me some links. I looked at a link and I applied. They said yes. And when they said yes, I applied again for a scholarship, and the Danish government was ready to pay for it, including my accommodation as well. So the course was just a period of 8 months, but fully paid accommodation and 3 meals, plus excursions. So that's how I came to Denmark. I came with my son because he already was a British citizen, had a British passport. So we came together. So reaching here, it was a bit hard because I had not mentioned in my scholarship that I would be coming with a child. And the apartment or the accommodation they had prepared for me was supposed to be shared by another person. So I called the father of my child. By that time, we were not together. We had broken up when I was pregnant. And I told him to come and take our son, and then they will be visiting me since they were nearby here. He was young. He was almost approaching a year. So he came for the boy, and during that time, I missed my son so much. So I tried to get to know the community here. So I would go from school. The school was in Helsingor. It's near Helsingborg or Helsingborg by the Swedish. It's the border of Sweden and Denmark on the other side in the north. So I looked for the community, and there were some Ugandans before at that school. And so the principal said that there are some Ugandans who used to go to a certain African church. So I contacted this acquaintance of mine again. She was very helpful. She came to school and visited me. She took me to her house, but it was in Newland. And and once in a while, whenever I would be bored, she would say, Maureen, katikati, yangu. So whenever she would also need some, how do you say, babysitting because she had children, she would say, I don't want to give you this job because you're my pastor. But again, tuina chokola. Akumsawo, tukitwala bubi, bambi with much respect. She would say, jangu, maybe weekend, okoleyo ezo hours. So I would, but still
as
it
a
was
concerned
very,
friend.
yeah, but it was very boring because it was in the middle of nowhere and it was far because you travel using 500 kronas on a train and then 500 coming back, and you worked for 1,200. So it was pretty much going to be there for a friend and have somebody to chat with. But then I started to miss home, and that's how I went to the church. They were very welcoming. I fit in immediately. And coming from Uganda, I was also a pastor, but an associate pastor, not leading a church, but just an associate to the senior pastor. So the first 6 months, now I started to see the lights. Because I was with people who speak the same language. So I got to know about how to stay longer and different routes one could take. I am a reader and a researcher, so I went and researched whichever option people had. Yeah, so I managed to get somebody who would rent me a room outside the school. So when I got somebody to rent me a room, that meant that now I can move the address to another location because now I've started to plan on how to stay. So I contacted my ex and I told him that I found very good people. There's a lady here who doesn't work. She actually said that she can, take care of my son a few hours that I'm at school because she also has kids. It would be nice. After all, I'm almost finishing since the course was 8 months. And yes, he brought my son back and we started our journey there. It was not easy. Having a child in other people's homes, it's not a good idea. I lost that person. She was a good person because I had a child, and I don't know.
Okay. You lost this person in your contact, not losing a life.
They didn't die.
Okay,
But
losing their contact.
Yeah, having a child in someone's house, it was hectic. So it started to stress me. So that, and when you know that a person that is close to you, whom or you almost live with, eat with, and you're coming from the same community, you start having that tension. It gets out, and it got into the church. So the community did not feel like now the right place to be in. So it was stressful. And when my ex came back, I told him about my plan of staying after my education. So I needed to put an extension as him being my counter signatory as the father of my child. So, and when we filled out the form, I put on the form that he was my spouse. Ne tukuba essimu e Kampala, ne tuyiyawo ekipapula ne bakireeta, ne tutwala ku immigration, and that very day I went, they said yes, because I walked in with a British man and a child, and we have history of 7 years traveling all over the world and having a child. They didn't have anything to question about. So they just told me in 3 weeks, your card will be at your residence, 5 years granted. After those 5 years, you're free to apply for permanent residence. Then, when this tension started between me and the people I was residing with, I finished school, I got my diploma. In Denmark, everything is called diploma, but at an international level, you would say it's just a certificate if it's less than a year. Yeah, but of course, the transcript says diploma in the developmental studies and logic framework. It's the course that I did. So this person knew what we had done with my ex, that we were not together. And phone calls were made.
Your dirty secret.
Phone calls were made. Police came. My papers were taken.
Oh.
Yes. And now the experience that my ex had with my son, he could not believe that I would be deported back to Africa with our child. So we started now to battle for custody. Who keeps the child? I'm going home with the child. No, I'm taking the child to the UK. So I'm having to fight for papers to stay. And then I have this situation of battling the custody of my son. But now I don't trust the environment where I was. So I moved into a women's shelter. When I moved into the women's shelter, I am a woman of prayer. I was praying and researching and praying and researching. I never told anybody back home what I was going through. So, and it was winter. I think I did not have enough vitamin D in my body. I was stressed. My eyes could not see. I was aging. I was lonely. I am now not only fighting to stay, but now fighting for my son. At one point, I said, I don't even want to stay. I just want to be able to take my son out of this country and we go back. Because when I came from Uganda this second time, I had a very good job. I was a translator in Uganda. It's now called Uganda Gwoji, but before it was called Henan Gwoji. So because I'm a Chinese speaker, I worked for that company, and it was paying good money. So I looked back, I had a good life back home. I had a home, I was driving, I had a job, I had a ministry ongoing, and now I'm caught up in this. It was, the first 2 years were not so good. But this situation did not stay for a long period of time. I managed to overcome it by the grace of God. I went back because there was a court case ongoing. They could not deport me during the 2 weeks they had given me. So when I went to the shelter, I researched that there is a constitutional right, or how do I call it, court. It's called Section 9C. People can research it on the internet. It says when you come into this country as a family member of an EU citizen, no matter what happens between you two, you should not be deported. But you should show that you are able to take care of yourself. And I did not have anything to take care of myself because by that time I'd not yet gotten a job. So what I did, I went and filled out the form, and all visa applications, the residence permits, they have a certain kind of recommendation. Are you a refugee? Are you applying as a spouse? Are you applying as a child? So you fulfill certain details or requirements depending on the kind of residence. And by this time, I don't know what I'm applying for because I don't even have the requirement to stay as a family member. So I I just ticked the box of others, because on the internet there is others. Then there is a page which opens, you explain your situation. So I just, by faith, I went. But as a prayerful person, I had had a dream like about a week before that I was driving a bus in the city of Copenhagen. And when I had that dream, I went into a fast and I went to a park. There was a park near Osterbo in central Copenhagen. And I took off my shoes and I went to that same spot for an entire week. And I would stand on this ground and I said, just like I saw in the dream, I get in covenant with this land. I will drive on this land. I will build on this land. I will lead on this land. I will harvest on this land. I will eat what belongs to Caesar. I will harvest where I did not sow.
That was too positively aggressive.
And I
Yeah,
said, I sold my car before coming. I said goodbye
that
to
was
my
deep,
church.
deep, deep, deep affirmation. Deep affirmation.
Yes. Because one thing I know as a spiritual person and a Bible scholar, when we speak, every element of creation should listen. The waters should listen. The wind should listen. The trees should listen. The land should listen. And the God who have all hearts of men should. So I told God, every caseworker on my case, keep them awake day and night until when I cross over to the side where you need me. I am not here by mistake. If I was not supposed to be here, I shouldn't have gotten here in the first place. But by the grace of God, I took in my paperwork, they took my biometrics, and they got me a caseworker, and the caseworker came when I handed in my paperwork. It was like, you cannot apply for a residence permit without grounds. I said, but you gave me a form which has another option. But I could beat them on that, because the page said residency under family reunifications, residency as a refugee, residency as a spouse or a family member, and others. So why are you denying to take in my application because I ticked others? But of course, I'm not saying that I was argumentative. I was crumbling inside, but my confidence was in God, because I had prayed about this before I came. And I said, God, show me favor that whoever stands in my face will crumble and melt. I want to experience the spirit of unusual kindness and compassionate towards me, because I have nobody at this point. So she said, okay, I'll take in your papers, but under one condition. I'm giving you a month before I start on your case, and you have to show me that you can take care of yourself. This can be either by getting somebody who has a certain amount of money that they're going to take care of you without taking government funds until you find a job, or you find a job. So I said, yes, they accepted my application, but they said they are not touching it until when they wait for this other paperwork during those 2 years. So this is very stressful, but I push in prayer. And as I'm looking for somebody to be my counter signatory, I did not get any. Then one day I remembered that when we were in college in Helsingor, there was an Indian man who was a part of our class who was working for KFC. So I looked for his contact details and I told him, hey, Sayed, I'm looking for a contract of a job. Could you offer me any job, cleaning, anything, even if it's part-time? I need it. He said, you come by. I no longer work with KFC, but I know my people are managers in Burger King, different outlets. So we went, and the next day when I went there, they gave me a job immediately. And they told me that when you start working, you will get a contract. I got a contract in Burger King. It was my first job. They gave me the contract. The next day, I called the boss and I said, I'm going to be 2 hours late. I have a meeting with the immigration. They said it's okay. So I went to the immigration and I presented the contract for a job. So they started to work on my case, because now they have to wait and see, is the salary coming in?
Mm.
So when I got the first salary, they called me and said, Moureen, your residence permit is ready. I waited for that envelope and I didn't know what was in there. Have they given me 6 months? Have they given me 1 year? But whatever they were giving me, I was like, I'm going to stay. I am staying in this country. So when I went there, they had given me 5 years with no condition. to it.
Mm.
No counter signatory that you have to stay married, no condition that you have to stay working. They just told me, but Brexit was happening. And according
Mm.
to the rules of Brexit, all family members already in EU were supposed to be given. So somehow God turned things around for me. So I
No,
did not
'cause,
need to fulfill any condition.
no, I was about to ask because when you, I have a feeling that immigration laws in Denmark are not any different from those in Norway. Of course, there are differences, clear differences rather
Mm.
specific differences, but in that line, if it
Mm.
was only your first salary, so I was just wondering how this influenced your permit. Okay, but there is also a backup law. Okay.
At the moment, I didn't know, but it's after I went and picked the envelope. I tried to look for the conditions of every visa. You know, every visa has got different conditions, but my visa had no conditions to it. The only thing I was not allowed to do is receive public funds. But I was
Public
allowed
funds.
to.
Okay, public funds, you mean social support from the government?
Yes, benefits of
Social
the
benefits.
state. Yeah. I was not allowed to do that. But everything else, I was allowed to stay. My son was supposed to receive all the rights like a Danish citizen, and so was I. So my integration started. It was hallelujah.
Mm, mm, mm,
Yeah.
mm.
So, and
What?
this is the funniest thing.
Mm.
After receiving my papers, they moved me from the department of Burger King where I was working to another one. Now I was like, what if they did this before the papers came out? What would I have done? So everything was always intentional for God. And I know many people go through a lot of hurdles to really have papers. And much as mine sounds like a little bit not straightforward because of the things that I encountered, honestly, it was not as hard as many people what they go through. So I don't want to milk it. And I suffered and I cried. You know, people want to have those stories. No, it was not for a long period of time. All this happened within a span of 6 months, honestly. Though it
You mean
looks
all
as if,
this
yeah,
is only 6 months you're talking about?
yeah, but no, after the 6 months after my education. The education was 8 months now, plus the 6 months after my education.
Okay. Okay, as
Yeah.
I understand, there was 6 months before
Mm.
you lost your first residence, right?
My first residence lapsed after 8 months of my education, changed it into the EU, which was confiscated a month after it was given to me.
Okay, it
And
lapsed.
revoked.
Okay, it lasted only 1 month.
Yes, the first residence permit
Yeah.
was of education. That
Yeah.
lapsed after my education because I did the
Yes.
education
Yes.
and graduated. Then I extended it into EU with the help of my ex. That's the one which was revoked because it was reported.
And it lasted only 1 month.
Yes, within a month they had revoked it. Kwegamba bandooperawo bano be nagenda neetetyeguliramu.
Yeah, let me engage our dear viewers. Thank you, everyone out there watching us on YouTube and Facebook. This is
Yeah.
Moureen Nagitta, a Ugandan resident of Denmark. Have you already attained the citizenship of Denmark?
No, but actually,
Okay.
9 years it's when you get it here.
Okay, a Ugandan resident of Denmark. She's telling a story which we tagged a journey to testify. I'm sure already you see a testimony in the journey, even before she tags it testimony. So, and she's telling a story where she has gone through thick and thin, though she wants to simplify that she hasn't struggled. But if you get residence, whoever has residence in Europe or wherever you are, get residence for only 30 days, and it is revoked and you go back to zero, you know that's already tough enough. I'm just curious about your friend who reported you. Has she ever expressed any sense of remorse for this act?
Honestly, I don't think so. But when we started the ministry, she used to attend our meetings and we hugged and talked like nothing happened. Have you met our people?
Yeah, I know.
Let me tell you, everyone wants a winner. Even your enemies will say to Aksavida, I'm telling you.
Mm.
But they did. They even give you names that we received a report from Moses. Mugisha reported this and this address. The information came from this IP address. There is this person, and this person said they used to take care of your child. You leave your child at home and you do this and this and this and this. It was all there. And she even had people that she can say that they can testify to that. And those people were actually backing them up. My ex is a British man. He stood in front of the court and said, they called me, they told me she does not live with the child. She does ABCD, ABCD, ABCD. And yes, we lied when we were applying. I just want my child to leave the country. There was nothing to hide. It was an open war.
Moureen, you mean she has never put a comment to this until now?
No. We've never talked about this, but we've met on occasions.
Are you still bitter with her?
Of course not. Oh my God, no.
How did you overcome this? I mean, this kind of feeling. I mean, I want to believe that at the first time you got bitter. How did you overcome this bitterness?
It took me
even without someone apologizing.
It took me a lot of time because I went to the residence where I was rating to pick the staff. And there was a smear campaign because now I was not dealing with one person. I almost fought with a person there. I had to remember that I am a pastor. Part of the humane part of me came out. I was not so holy during that season. I will not even sit here and lie. I lost my confidence. I lost my insecurity. I struggled with coping with what was happening. I was losing my child. It was not easy. It was not easy. So going there to pick my things out of that place to take them to the shelter, I did not behave at all. So there was an exchange, not even just with one person. This was like an organized crime scene.
I love the honesty.
Yes, and the gentleman who went with me to pick the things, he was a Ugandan. He had to say Musumba munange, like literally reminding me, Mama, oli Musumba, chicheguza bwoti ebichabikwereze.
And I imagine you shut him up by reminding him nti abasoma nabo bantu.
I didn't. I thank the Spirit of the Lord because I knew it was not him speaking by this time. I just did like, but physically, emotionally, no. I dreaded, I cast them in prayer. I will not lie. And I said, there was that season until when the Lord worked on my heart and said, Mukwano, you also have a role to play in this. When you're winning, people are not winning at the same speed as you. Why would you go and, be so careless with your blessings like that? There's where transparency should work. And sometimes we abort even destinies by opening our mouth. Even in the scriptures, the Magi's, when they saw where Jesus was, they were excited. They went and told the enemy that we have found him. We followed the star of Bethlehem, and we know where the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords and the one who's going to take off Herod. They said things which stirred up anger in Herod and was like, I'm going to kill every child until I get to that kid. Even God himself had to run away from people so that the plan is not aborted. I was not special. So these people are not to blame to a certain extent because Judas walked with Jesus. The devil always looks for a weak one. It was the enemy fighting me to stay in this country. Like I said, I had been all over, but I had never gotten proper residence in any country. And the country which gave it to me, the enemy came for it. So these were just people, good people who were used in a time of weakness at that time.
I can feel it. Yeah,
but
Moureen,
I did not understand that in the beginning. It came after kabugezi ajja luvannyuma nti naye abantu bano basonyiwe ku mutima sitaani ye yali alwana naawe n'anoonya obunafu bwabwe.
You earlier said that you've never felt so at home like you feel in Denmark. And okay, I want to compare that. You're comparing the other countries you lived in, maybe not Uganda in that case, but okay, you've never felt at home like you are in Denmark. Do you at one point feel that this said friend of yours, she reporting you was a blessing in disguise?
It was a blessing in disguise because during the custody battle between me and my ex, I got to see a man I didn't know before. So if I had remained on the papers he had sponsored, it was just an extended bomb. It was about to erupt still.
Mm.
It would have erupted still.
Yeah, sure. Because of course you're a believer, you're a pastor. I tend to believe that sometimes things happen at the worst we expect them, but along the line of life, they turn out to be blessings in disguise. But of course, it doesn't rule out the fact that we are humans that get taken down to the deepest. But God has a very sophisticated plan sometimes.
Amen.
Just one last one as we leave that. Has this experience shaped you in any way? This experience with your friend?
Yes, it has. One, it's integrity. I was a truthful person because I don't come from a rich family, but we were rich in manners, rich in values, and rich in love. Our family is full of love. Our family is full of transparent and trustworthy people. I mean, we are built from the lower middle class to a higher status because of our values. But I had left that path in the struggle to stay. I think all this kuno omuntu akuyambe akusainingire mutwale mulimbe mukole bwe muti, that was not me, and I think God did not want me to have a blessing in that line. So this experience with this person taught me that integrity is key, and whatever you get with through lying or anything else, conniving, craftiness, you're gonna lose it. You can't defend it because God will not protect it. That was one. Number two is be very careful who you open up to. You don't know the battles people have fought, and you don't know how your good news is going to impact them.
Yeah, sure.
That was too, yeah, because later on I found that people really were struggling to stay. They just did not say their statuses at the moment because they knew not to say that. I just didn't know that I was surrounded by people who were still believing God for a permanent stay. And there was nakatuka buli kimu bam bam bam, mukyala muzungu, oyambala brands, oli pasta, olina ebisiibo, scholarship bakyaweerezaayo
And then
akasente.
in addition to that, wagira red carpet,
Ate otudde wano ku red carpet ku address zaabwe nnyini.
It seemed to be raining all the time in your life, and there was drought perhaps.
N'omuntu oyampa address yali talina ssente za deposit ya nnyumba, ne mugamba no, I'll just give you free, njagalako bwagazi address.
So you say you're a total warlord where it was raining all the time in your life and there was maybe drought in their lives. But this is the as we open up these things, and I want to believe that those watching us, they are kind of relating their stories. And as we relate, definitely we get challenged or even learn and learn a couple of things. For you, that was your experience. For someone else, it might be another lesson. This is one segment of your life. This period of time, there was studies that brought you to Denmark. Was that was theology, right?
No.
Okay, it was different.
Yeah, it was a different leadership course. It's called development management, where they teach leaders on logic framework, problem analysis, and other things. So being that I was an associate pastor back in Uganda, and by that time I had finished my associate degree, it was easy to get in and on a scholarship. So to them, it's a diploma, but of course the certificate was only 8 months. That one, I finished it within the 8 months. My other bachelor's, I did it from 2019, and it was 3 years and 8 months. Now that's the one in theology.
Okay, now even after this battle and struggle to get space in Denmark, your choice of a degree, theology, was it in line with the market study of the area, or it was a different inspiration? Because theology, I'm also in Denmark. With my flat analysis, I would say, okay, would that be marketable? Why? I mean, what was the drive to choose theology as a line of study?
One, it's when I came here during this commotion and I left the African church, I went to the pure Danish church, and I managed to be in ministry there. And in order to be here, ministers actually, they get paid. And by that time, I had not integrated fully to know Danish to find a proper job. So I joined, one, to serve, because you need to be a part of them to serve. And I needed to go through ministry training, something which I had already received when I was in Uganda at Prayer Palace. So when the pastor introduced the idea, he also said, but if you have an education or you're called into leadership, it would be very wise if you, instead of taking a certificate in ministry, you actually go for proper theology education at the university. And by that time, I was pregnant. Because during those 2 years, a girl meets a boy, girl falls in love, girl gets married, and girl is pregnant. So by that time, I had met my ex-husband, and he had finished school. He had opened up a company. My ex-husband was a provider. And that helped me to have a chance to go to school or to study whatever I wanted. Because even if I tried to work, there was nobody to take care of my son. He also had a daughter and also the pregnancy. So during that time, I was like, you know what, maybe you can, this thing about preaching, because he saw the fire. I was always preaching.
As we speak of that time now, in terms of a phase of time, how many years are those? You studying and having to rethink your support and your husband supporting. What's the range of time? How many years were they?
We've started 3 years.
3 years. 3 years. And your choice, still back on your choice of a course, that is theology. Okay, the inspiration, I see it's more spiritual. But again, had you considered that you'd need money to carry you on as you study? Or it's something you just realized after?
Yes, I was integrating on the side.
Okay, integrating on the side. And what
because
kind of work did you have on the side?
Just a few you need just a few hours a week for Danish language. It's very hard to find a job in Denmark without the Danish language. So it's either you sit home. Yeah, it's either you sit home as you take Danish courses, or you sit home and take another course, because I was not allowed to get benefits, integration benefits. So my case was different. Going to school, still I'm not going to get benefits. Other people go to school because they will get integrating benefits. So in my case, I was not getting any integration benefits. So I would only go for the language classes once a week. And I used this opportunity because Denmark has free education.
Okay, you had free education. On the side, why still working at Burger King?
No, I stopped when my pregnancy was around 6 months.
Okay. So basically, as I understand, your time in school, you had a supportive muscle of your ex-husband.
And my maternity benefits.
And your maternity benefits. Well, you know, one thing I'm very happy for, that even when you're calling him your ex-husband, you can online still credit him for being the provider, and not just you know these things, Moureen, eh? You know how people call those tags people give to people when they are in their past lives. Eh?
No. During all that ruckus of child custody, how do you stay in the country? He was in the picture as a boyfriend, and he asked me, why don't I give you papers? Because he's a Danish citizen. He came when he was young. His family is here. And I at one point I thought about it because I was tired of waiting. But one day I was praying and the Spirit of the Lord came with a very strong conviction and said, Maureen, I'm going to do this for you. I want you to rely on me fully. So I
Maureen,
went
you
back
said
to
no to a red carpet.
I know, because I had fought it halfway, and what I could see in the spiritual realm, honestly, was something that I could not relate to what was happening around me. I was seeing fireworks, victory, ministry. God was speaking to me why I'm in this country. But the storm around me was really wailing. And many times, I'm not saying that I'm very strong in faith. My faith declined. My hope was deferred. My relationship with him, my ex, also was troubled because I was up and down, up and down. You know, somebody like you're bipolar. 1 minute you're very happy, the next minute you're sad, the next minute there's someone in you. So he was really like all the time, like
So you had the extra work at home, eh? Take care of an adult who
He even
who's
changed my
feeling
phone
very,
number
very
without
proud.
he changed my phone number without telling me. And months passed, a whole month nobody's calling me, not even my family. Kanonye ku bantu. Until when I called someone and said, no, I was like, hey, but why you don't even have my number? I was like, but honestly, this is not your number, Pastor. I looked at the number, so he phoned me at home like this. Why did you get the Rugezi to change my phone? And he was like, I'm sorry. It was too much. People are calling you, they're telling you, oh no, Yagambet, oh no, Yagambet. I indirectly went and changed your number.
So he was guarding his space.
Because he would find me with a lot of rugambo like this. Kankubulira omanyi nakamati bwe yagambye omanyi gundi bwe yayogedde omanyi nti no gundi namusanze mu court. I think he just got tired of it nagamba ono.
But do you think what he did was good for you?
It was
In the long run?
Not in the long run. Immediately when we sat down and he told me that Mkwano, you are this ewe kuzunga kuzene kuzeri personally nkoyo kukumakuma wenyambe guard your heart, and then he had to remind me scriptures. Me a pastor, now he's pastoring me. So I said, you know what, thank you. Yeah.
Of course, knowing that it's very hard to acquire residence in any country, including countries like our third world countries. When someone offers you a red carpet, and you turn it down, how did he react?
He said that if they do not give me here, we will move to Sweden.
Wow.
Because he had lived in Sweden before, and he said it's such a wonderful thing there. It's a wonderful place there. It's easier. And I will apply as an EU citizen or EU Nordic citizen, and I will still work in Denmark because I only drive 30, 40 minutes to my work. But let's first take it the way you said, because whenever I would say Mukama Yagambi, he would just...
So he was also a believer.
He is a believer. He's been a believer more than I have. I married a believer.
Speak to me about your spiritual life. With all this battle and turbulence, were you ministering actively as a pastor?
No, by that time I had not started. My ministry started in 2020 as a leader, but my pastoring was only where I'm invited and at a prayer altar. We had a prayer altar.
Okay. You see, your story is both inspiring but also challenging, and throwing spots where you want to question yourself that would I take such bold steps? You say no to, there is someone giving you papers, and you don't have any connection, you're not intimate in any way, or you have this sort of a staggering relationship, but you have someone who is ready to fight for you, offers you papers, and you turn them down because the spirit tells you this way. Wow.
I am very aware of my spiritual gift, and I am concealed in God's covenant. He has never failed me. Like I said, my journey did not start here, so I could not doubt. Maybe if it was before, I would have said, "Naimu kama nanyamba." But I had seen the Lord take me out of different kind of fires. And if he said he would, I knew he would.
Thank you so much, Maureen. I love the conversation we are having. It's you're speaking to my soul before you even send it out to the viewers, and I'm glad we've taken enough time to have this conversation. I want to greet you all who are watching us on YouTube and Facebook. Euroforum is a platform where we communicate with peers. Today, our peer is a lady, Moureen Melody Nagitta Omusumba, but also having several academic quotes. She is telling a story. There is so much to reflect upon, and my only appeal to you is to invite your friend, your family member. You might even need to invite someone who is not even a friend, but an immigrant, out there, who might be struggling, who might be uncertain at crossroads, wondering on where to go. Bring them on. Share this link so they can tap into the story. Maybe this could be the turning point for whatever is keeping them in the dark. We shall take a very short break and come back shortly to take the last segment of this very beautiful and amazing conversation. Stay tuned on Euroforum.
Welcome to Euroforum UG, where we address Ugandans from Europe, USA, Asia, Africa, Australia, and all over the globe. We share experiences, opinions, and expertise on current affairs, educative lifestyle, religion, and family matters. Follow, subscribe, and like our social media platforms: Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok at Euroforum UG. You can also join our live shows every weekend on our social media platforms. For more information, visit our social media platforms or email us at euroforumug@gmail.com or WhatsApp us on +4740 574040. Euroforum UG, communicating with peers.
We are back, Moses Mugisha, here in Oslo, Norway, together with Moureen Melody Nagitta. Greetings to you, Mr. Kasidia Fred, one of our team members on Euroforum. And I also want to greet you all, my fellow Euroforum management team. Thank you for the work we put together. I want to invite a friend to come and we interact on these very pertinent issues. Today in Oslo, Norway, we are having a celebration. We are celebrating not anything else but the victory we achieved yesterday. Our Ugandan team from Uganda emerged champions in the Homeless World Cup that transpired for a week here in Oslo. They are at Frogner Park. Ugandan living in Oslo and areas around, spare time and drop by and enjoy and celebrate the victory. Let them feel they have people, they have countrymen in Oslo that feel with them about this joy. Tukomyo, as we wind up, Mr. Kasidie, I thank you for that comment. It's reminding us of how much this means to you. Moureen, speak to me on how you find the balance between your life as a mother, as a spiritual minister, but also a breadwinner in your household.
I must say it's tough. It's not easy. And many people, when they look on the outside and they see somebody carrying some stuff, they think it's easy or they think it's not heavy. But it's not been a great, let me say, experience having to do all at once. However, as believers, we believe that God gives us grace according to the seasons, and we manage to meander or navigate different areas of our lives. So as a mother, I'm there as much as I can, almost full time for my kids, because they are 95, 97% with me, and I do 24-hour parenting. But some weekends they're with their dad, and he's there for them doing the fathering. I can only do the mothering. I cannot do the fathering. About the ministry, yes, in the beginning, 2020, my ministry started. I have to rephrase that. It's not my ministry alone. Our ministry started Transformation Ministry, and we have a board of directors. So these people, we split responsibilities, and they showed up in different places, different areas. Some do the administrative duties, others do accounting, and of course, as a pastor and a leader, leading a community-based ministry, we have few hands in service because many people are here to make money. People have families, and our community is very small per se. It's in rare cases that you see a ministry led by an African having many other people of other races participate in it. It's in rare cases. Sweden, Norway, wherever you go, it's in rare cases if the lead of the vision is a Black person. So we usually attract people from our background, and we are not so many Ugandans here. So there are other churches, and we try to alternate responsibilities with other people, but it's been hard. So in the beginning, when I was still married, my ministry, I used to be there full time from Monday to Sunday. We used to have counseling programs, intercession, choir, Revelation Court Bible study, overnight Fridays, Saturday choir practices. And I would be a part of almost everything because we have few hands. And then the Sunday service. So it was hard. But after I got separated, I realized that actually my children need me more. So I cut down on the times that we meet. So that has been like a mechanism to help me have a balance between ministry, work, and also being there for the children. And also for the children's part, as we know in Europe, we have daycares that help us have our kids even almost up to 5 p.m. So in the morning, we live together. I drop them off at school, and I work in proximity of 15 to 16 minutes also where I work. So I drive to work. And when I leave work, I drive to the school, pick them up, and we drive home. We run our errands on Saturdays and do activities so that we can have time for Sunday prayers. Now, during the week in the afternoon, we have Wednesday Bible study, the Revelation Code. And sometimes we do have a prayer altar on Friday, but every Tuesday, without missing, I meet with the intercessors, we pray. So Wednesday and Tuesday, these are online prayers. They are actually for the inner circle. We don't put them online out there. And Friday, we always announce who would be a part of it. And we also change where are we going to meet, like a cell group. So that has been helpful because I was running crazy, really. When I tried to keep it full-time and be full-time parent, full-time honor, and full-time ministry, it was getting out of hand. Like I said, I have resilience, but I also know what is not working. Because part of organization management is learning to restructure that, okay, we are going to have this program for 6 months, and then we check and then have a meeting. Is it working? No. Even the immigration always changes. In office, people call in meetings every morning to see, are we still in the same mental state to push forward with what we're doing? So we do have what they call evangelical strategies in ministry. You always have to call your people because ministry is for life. It's voluntary work, a calling for life. It's a gift upon you wherever you are. It's not that, hey, me, I'm a pastor in Denmark, but when I'm in London, you don't tell me anything. It's me. It's who I am. It's a vow I took with God. I could be a leader here. I could be a leader in Uganda. I could be a leader in anywhere, any place. It's a part of me. So whether I am fine or not, I take on what I can. There's only one Savior, and that's Jesus Christ. I am just a servant and a child of God. And when my cup is empty, I do not pour into anybody. I switch off my phone. You have an emergency, call the police.
I love it. You sound very, very passionate about what you're doing, and to an immigrant out there. You know, immigrants. There is a joke that runs around social media that many immigrants were very religious before they left their countries, and now that they are living in countries which many of them tag as lands of milk and honey, So where what they used to have as prayer requests is currently their lifestyle. So maybe they are.
Can
You
I
have
say
something to
something
go?
about that?
Please go
Yes.
ahead.
And that is why our churches are empty. So if you're a pastor out there and you're killing yourself, remember this. You are dealing with people whose prayer request was food, accommodation, and some of them arrived.
Exactly.
So, and they arrived in a state or in countries who do not believe that actually God exists. So the more they integrate in the system, they pick up on the belief system that actually religion is man-made. So you see you're trying to kill yourself and then two people will show up. You rent out an auditorium to have a proper setting and then the bills are really strangling you. So you have to keep all these things in mind in order to find a balance when you're taking money out of your kids' vacation into how many people will show up, how many people are willing, how fast can we expand this? And remember, these countries also no longer give people residence permits. So we don't have new people coming especially in the Nordic countries. Many people who come to Europe, they go to other countries where papers are easy to get, but not so much in Denmark.
As for you, going by the Bible verse that go out and become fishers of men, you as a minister, also a pastor, your cardinal role among others is to fish men. But now that you know that you're faced with a challenge that the fish you want to fish are more comfortable in the sea. So how have you managed to navigate this?
One of the strategies I used was I applied as a visiting friend in the Red Cross. And they gave me insurance, they gave me an ID, and they gave me even cars. But if I can preach to the refugees in different camps, and we have people who can drive them to church every morning, they can come. Guess what? I preached to them. They didn't have transport to come to church, and I didn't have anybody in my on my board or in my team who is ready to pick them up from Roskilde to bring them to church. So the fishes were there, but how to get them to church was a problem.
Yeah, you see, the fish are going deeper in the sea. The deeper you cast your net, the deeper they go in the sea. So how do you manage to keep afloat as a pastor who should serve the role or the calling of fishing?
Yeah, besides now trying to get them to church, I realized actually the point is not bringing people to church. The point is to preach to people and introduce them to the Great Commission and the message of Christ. I'm also a worshiper. So what I did, I said, okay, how about you give me some singing moments that I can come here maybe once a month and sing and we eat. And they said, yeah. So there I can get people who need somebody to talk to one-on-one. And like after the singing, while you're sharing a cup of coffee, you're like, but you're not supposed to take pictures and videos. That's why you don't see anything out there. Yeah.
Thank you,
So
Moureen.
that's preaching.
Yes. Thank you, Moureen. And thank you to you, our dear viewers on Facebook and YouTube. Don't forget to share on the link for people to engage and we interact in depth on these very, very deep and timely aspects of life. I know there is a viewer watching us and he or she is very, very eagerly waiting to tap into their core of the topic and bought a house, because somewhere we wrote 5 years in Denmark, acquired a bachelor's and bought a house. So they're waiting to hear what we have to say about you buying a house. Let's drive in. Moureen, this period of time, we've talked about the ministry, your life, and maybe we can go back to that. But guide me or maybe put to light how you managed within this period of time as a mother, struggling with income, struggling with education, how you managed to save, buy a house in that period of time.
By the time I bought my house, I was not struggling with finances. It would be an insult to my ex-husband, honestly, if I said that.
I retract the statement.
Yes,
Apologies
because
for
I
that.
bought a house after I had been in Denmark for 4 years and 8 months. And during that time, we had started a company, and it was running so well. He's a man who has 2 degrees, one in engineering and another one in construction architecture. So he started a construction company, and the company started to grow by the grace of God, and we were bringing in a lot of money. So though he was not giving me the money, but he took care of the things around the house, which made me save my small salary. Of course, I would contribute. For example, the food and the groceries around the house, it was always bought by me. But remember, our household was of six, so that means a lot of money coming from my income, and it was a minimum wage. But I had a discipline of saving one, and I minimized on the level that I would get out loans. Many people have a car loan, bank loan here, bank loan there, phone loan, computer loan, vacation loan on Klarna. So people have all those debts all over
And,
the
and
place.
there is also a loan to pay a loan.
A loan, they're called consolidating your loan so that you can pay a loan.
That is my creation of the term, but the concept is that.
Yeah, it's called a consolidation loan. They gather all your loans and then they give you pay back at the interest. So I had discipline when it comes to money. And somebody who had ever dated a Mzungu, I had learned, because this does not come from my background. I learned this the time I was with my Mzungu boyfriend, how to be focused when it comes to money, and also my accounting background. Because you asked me what I was doing while I was at campus. I worked with Vama Bajaj, and I was in bookkeeping and data entry and Bombo Road. So I knew some things about how to keep the tight on the requisition and working with the budget and running the numbers. So I did not have dates all over. That's one, I saved. Number two, we had a circle at church within the board and two members who were out of the board. Whereas women, we would save 4,000 kronas every month. And we would give one person the amount. Every second month, the other person would get. And that was good money. Because the first time I received, I bought a car. I deposited on a very good German car. Then the second time, when it was next to my second time, and I found the house that I wanted, in the beginning, I wanted to buy with my husband. But he said he still has some student loans that he needs to take care of, and he didn't want to buy outside the city. He grew up in Copenhagen city center. He really liked it there. Number two, he wanted an apartment and I wanted a villa. So I had to move 45 to 50 minutes out of Copenhagen. It's a city called Ringsted. So I had to look outside, one, so that I cannot buy a very expensive house, two, so that I can afford according to what the bank was willing to give me as a mortgage guarantee. What fits in case I am sick? What can my insurance give me monthly until when I get back on my feet? Will it be enough for a mortgage and other bills? So I looked for that. So unfortunately, around 2021 November, we got separated, and I didn't want to live with the children in the shelter. So I started to look for houses to rent, and I saw that the deposit of getting an immediate house was a lot. So I looked in my bank account what I had and what I was expecting from the circle. I said, I'm going to pray about this. So I went to God in prayer and I said, lead me. Let me be favored at every door that I will knock to. So I sent several banks out applications for a mortgage. And of course, they would ask me, which house do you want? And I asked them, how much am I worth? Because they have to evaluate you, how much you're worth before they can give you money. So some banks would say maybe 2.6 Dutch kronas, others would say 1.9, 2. Because the truth is I had discipline when it comes to money, and they looked at me as education. Education is really, really important.
So you had quite a number of scores because of your education.
Yes, because they want to know you are not just gambling about incomes, that tomorrow, if your income is gone, your casual job is stopped, they're not going to be paid. There are benefits which come in somebody being a profession. So they looked at my education, I must say. They looked at my age, because I was 30. No, I'm just cutting the edge. I was not that. I have
Mhm. Cut,
I
cut.
was in my early 30s, meaning that I'm not
If the
near
knife
to,
is
I'm
not
not
enough,
near
I'll
to,
give you a panga.
my dear, you can get an axe because the rate at which I'm cutting the edge, I need helpers. But they looked at the age. If you're not so near retirement age, they can vary because mortgages are between 25 to 35 years, depending on how old you are. They look at your health as a person. If you have a record of diseases and complications that at some point you may not be able to work, then how are you going to pay? Two, they looked at my discipline when it comes to finances. I didn't have loans all over the place. And then they looked at my savings as a person in regards to the property that I wanted. But since I
Okay.
was a first-time buyer,
Let me just get you just for clarity. You said mortgages are between 25 to 35 years. You mean
yes,
age or the time of pay?
the time of payment.
Okay. Go ahead. All right. Just
So
wanted to be clear.
65, the retirement age minus your age. If you are lower than 25, it's very hard to get a mortgage unless you're paying almost 50% of the property you're looking for. So you may find somebody with a lot of money and they decline their application age. And that's why many people do not have homes. It's not that they are not hard workers or they don't have money, but some people started saving late and now age is keeping them out of these opportunities. And that's why you see many people who are smart, they marry young so that they know that at least they can buy a property through the wife who is still young.
That's
ako kalowoozo babeerayo eyo bwakankana nga oyagala kulumba lungo nga nibyo bigaanyi mwana muwala muto. So
strategic planning.
Yeah, strategic planning. So it was the right time. It was my Kairos moment. If I delayed, there was no way I would have purchased, because right now money just goes through my account because of running a household alone. By that time, my house was being run by both of us, and we had an account. Also, it's important to note, have several bank accounts. The primary account where you receive your salary should not be the account you use on Shiny, and if they just see somebody who is so unserious. Your transactions speak about your money habits. Yeah.
Come again on that.
Have more than one account. An account for your expenditures and an account for the receiving salary. So when the salary comes in, let's say you receive 20,000 Danish kroners and you know your monthly expenditure is 10,000, move the 15,000 and leave 5,000 in this account. So there is only one transaction and it can be traced that it goes into your expenditure account. So when the bank comes to you that they want to see your account, you show them your income account, which has few transactions in it. Because they ask you when you fill it out that how much do you spend per month? You say 15,000. And when they look in your account statement, they can see that every month 15,000 goes to the expenditure account. Now, in that expenditure account, you never disclose what's in your expenditure account, because now they will see Viagra, hotel, Shiny, nightclub, McDonald's. They're like, huh, this person has no proper money habits. Of which this 15, you can even say a clean lie that I invest. I transfer that money into my investment account, and it's from my investment account that I spend money from my profits. Remember, they also have a conversation with you. It's not about what you feel on paper.
What I pick from this is that, yes, some odds could have been on your side, you having a partner, a supportive partner. But again, there was a lot of self-discipline. There was a lot of strategic planning. And there was a lot of mindfulness in your decisions around that time. Because now this is what you're providing is financial literacy about, okay, trying to buy a house. Have you minded your bank statement? Have you minded your financial discipline? So this, I feel this is knowledge we shall actually need to bring you back to just take that segment of financial discipline. And yes, in the interest of time, how would you summarize the anchors to your success within these 5 years? We've hinted on you buying a house, being able to complete your bachelor's, you being able to hustle for your papers. How would you, in summary, summarize the anchors to this sort of success?
Mine is God first. Or put God first and walk according to the will of God. We have different destinies, and just because I'm achieving, it doesn't mean the other person is doing nothing. But timing is everything. Be aware of your times and seasons. That's number one. Number two, surround yourself with the right circle, because people around me right now, they're all homeowners. They all own homes, both here in Europe and in Uganda. And I've met even those who own more than one. And they are Ugandans. That's one. So the right circle. So we don't meet for Lugambo. We don't meet for what? Some of them are not even Christians. They're Muslims. But I learned from them a few things that I would not know. Number three is discipline is very integrity. You can only defend what's true. Because even if they say no the first time, and you are consistent that you're verily, verily standing on the truth, they might say no the second time, but nothing beats integrity, because a person who is transparent, who is truthful and loyal, even God defends whatever they are doing. God will defend you. So integrity is very, very important. It helped me in my permanent residence, because shortly after buying the house, I became a permanent resident. All these things, when you look at the factors that impacted all these things to happen, it was pretty much the same. Financial discipline, because also for permanent residents, they need to know that you're fully integrated. They need to know that you are earning, you've not been taking out money, kamwani, and all that, faking sickness. They see all that. Staying out of fights, commotion, and being able to do something into the. And lastly, it's the community. Much as it was not all good, I would not have done this minus the community. Because it's the first person in the community that gave me an address. They may not have been good to me afterwards. They really gave me an address. It was a starting point. Secondly, the church where I went. I made good friends out of there that are still my friends and are still my pillars. Not all of them, but there are people who saw me there, and it also imparted on my ministry, because time came nebagamba naye tugende ku kanisa yoyo omukazi tojjukira ye yali mu kanisa eri naye omukazi alina ekigambo naye omukazi asaba the community. So just be careful what you put there and how you show up to them, but you need them. They have whispers, they have loose mouth. It will help you. It will help.
Maureen. I'm glad we've had this conversation, and I believe this is your maiden visit on Euroforum. I'm sure you're yet to have several of such visits. Maybe the coming visits will be tailored to particular topics to discuss, because I feel we have a lot to tap from your cup. Your cup needs to fill a couple of cups out there, and it should be through Euroforum. And of course, on your channel, is it Moureen Melody Transformation Ministries?
Both. I do have 2 pages. Transformation Ministries, it's strictly for my ministry work. Moureen Melody Nagitta is for my personal. You could see me in a selfie, also listening to a song. You could see me preaching. It's my page, that one. Mind your business.
So we hope to host you more and more. But as in the interest of time, I want to just drive it fast track. There are 2, 3, 4 questions here that I'll need your very precise answers on them. You've walked it up and down, east and west, and moved in circles. You hinge everything to God, but God has never promised us a safe passage, but rather safe landing.
Yeah.
Take me on your deepest in the 9 years you've lived in Denmark. What has been your deepest moment? Deepest moment.
Deepest in pain or deepest in joy?
You caught me. I mean deepest in pain.
Deepest in pain.
Yeah.
I think it's after my divorce. I lost my identity. I struggled to fit in. I was leading families and I didn't know what to tell them. I was telling women to persevere, be submissive, keep their homes together, and mine was broken. My children, I saw my children suffer and go through an emotional distress, and I didn't know how to help them. I had to put on big pants to run a household of children, being a mother, a father, a provider, and somebody they can rely on emotionally, a teacher, and also taking care of a ministry as another baby. And I did not have enough help. It was deep. I relied more on God more than I've ever before, but I told you I lost my identity. I doubted myself because everything that I ever thought was right, the world was proving me that actually it's not right. So I'm trying to figure out what is the right thing to do. How is the right way to go about things? Can God lead somebody into such a pit? It was really, really a challenging moment in my life. It was dark. It was empty. It was a cave. And it took a lot of time. It took a long time. 2022 was hell. 2023 was hell. I think my healing journey started around 2024 beginning. So I was dealing with abandonment, dealing with a heartbreak, dealing with shame, and dealing with a failing ministry. I had a sick child who had lymphoma. And my first son used to go to a special needs school. So it was not easy. And also having a teenage daughter.
I'm happy. I'm happy that at the moment we are bringing echoes from the past. But right now, you sound, even the way you sound as you're telling this, it's a sad story, but you sound like you've already rebounded. You're already afloat. And I think this also, this also takes me back what I earlier said, that we shall bring you on a couple of segments. I think this will come as a topic to just speak to people how to heal from shock. Shocks are different, but that's permanent. But just a quick one. Any lessons learned from your previous marriage?
Yes, one, it's two good people can be mismatched. It doesn't mean the other person is wrong or this person is wrong. That's one.
Okay.
Number two is I don't know, honestly, because first I got married young, and I would not blame this also on marriage. I would say that the more we grow, we become better versions. And if you would take me back when I chose who I married, I think I would choose at that age. That's the best I could do. Some people say I would have done better. I was not also in a better place. I was not mature enough even to know, like, how do you choose a partner? So that's what I would have done. It was a wonderful journey, good man of God. And I'm sure he's also in a better place right now. So as I am. So treat people with grace, and people show up to different people in different versions. Don't hang up on pain so much that you forget the best in people. Yeah.
Thank you, Moureen. Let's flip it. What has been your peak of your 9 years in Denmark? that moment where you felt that God has done it for me?
I think it's this year. I think it's this year because and nothing happened, by the way. It's I was stressed about some finances which were not adding up. And I opened up my terrace. I'm sorry, I have a terrace. I opened up my
Yeah.
glass terrace and I
You have
looked
a
into
reason
the
to,
garden.
you have a reason to brag because you're only
Yeah,
testifying to God.
allow me brag about good. My home is seated
Your terrace.
on 1,200 square meters. So I have a big yard in front of a terrace, and I have a backyard, and I have a kitchen. It's very hard to maintain. But so when I opened up the window, I was like, oh my God, I am worried about bills, but I have my children under the same roof. None of them is sick. My son, who used to go to a special needs school, he goes to a normal school. My son who had lymphoma, this is the third year the checks are coming back that there are no cancer cells. I have 2 cars parked in my parking lot and they're all new. I have a ministry that's running and I do public speaking. This is my home. I can decide to pack out, live in any country and rent it out and always have ties to this country. And I am a permanent resident still living. And the most important thing is, I was like, I am a divorced person who got divorced young, meaning God has granted me a second chance to live life again. Nobody wasted my time. And then I remembered when I moved to this place, I knew I was moving to Holy Hills, right? But I didn't know what it means. So as I was typing in my address, Google translated it and it means a calm, still road. So I was like, you know what? I am here today. I am happy I am here today. And I'm living in my prayers. This is the epitome of God answering prayers. Coming from where I come from, yes, I've made it in life and I'm going to do more. There's nothing new that happened. It was a moment of appreciating the journey that I survived it all and I'm still glowing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now that, okay, then that nothing had happened, but you still found reason to sum up all these milestones into one basket and said, glory,
Yeah.
glory, glory. What do you attribute that to? Because nothing had happened, but you are
Hmm.
able to sum up all these milestones. I
Hmm.
mean, what do you attribute that to? Because usually we give glory and testify to God when something has instantly happened. As for
Hmm.
you, even when nothing happened, was it random? Was there a moment that triggered this? Open it
There
up
was
to
a
me.
moment. There was a moment I said I was stressed about a certain bill that I was supposed to pay,
Okay.
but that
Mm.
month I did not receive enough. And as I was panicking, looking up and down, usually I have times when I put my phone away and just stay in reflection. It could be meditation on the word of God or just thinking. I take walks around the area. I call them prayer walks, but not every prayer walk I'm talking. Sometimes I'm just in my thoughts. But as I opened that terrace door and I looked and I was like, wow, what a view. Then I started to count a blessing one by one. So I think we should always sit and reflect on the journey, honestly.
Okay.
It will help you gain the momentum.
Thank you. To me, as I keep telling my guests, that as you speak to the audience, sometimes you're
Mm.
speaking to me fast. I mean, I'm
Mm.
tapping, my cup is nearer to your jar. Before you pour into the audience, you've already
Yeah.
poured into mine. As a spiritual leader,
Thank you.
as a pastor, what
Mm.
is that favorite song that brings life to you above any other song?
Promises by Maverick City.
Promises. I
Mm.
was almost going to get tempted to ask you to sing a verse or two, but hold yourself, Moses. But if you
I don't want to sing because my voice may sound bad, but I can just say the lyrics of the chorus. It says,
please do.
"Great is thy faithfulness to me. Great is thy faithfulness to me. From the rising star to the setting sun, I would praise your name. It's called Promises. He was singing about God of Abraham and God of covenant. He keeps his promises, and great is his faithfulness to me.
You reminded me about this song. Let's brag about God. Because you said you don't want to sing, you just say the lyrics. So if you, that's how you speak the lyrics, then how do you sound when you're singing? So thank you for bragging in God. Thank you for bragging in God. And yes, this is a very interesting one. I want to appreciate you, all our dear viewers. Thank you for taking off time. In case you haven't subscribed to Eurofrom YouTube, please do the needful. Do us a service. Let your input today be subscribing to our page. In case you haven't liked our page on Facebook, kindly do the needful. On TikTok, we are more than waiting to see you click that button. Moureen, as a leader, as a servant of God, you definitely align well with the word feedback. I've heard you enormous times on this show giving your ex-husband feedback, giving him credit. You as a leader, where is your position when taking in feedback? Is it something you ask for, or it's something that just shocks you whenever it comes in?
No. A leader should always create room for feedback. Leadership is not for the weak. Whether it's negative or positive, you have to be in a position and have the mental state to receive feedback. Leadership is not rulership. You're leading people and they are following you. A ruler comes behind them and is pushing them with a whip. A leader has what they call servant leadership. You serve and they follow what you do, how you speak, how you carry yourself, and they can give feedback. And all people do not come in at the same time with the same understanding or the same point of view. Some people will be biased negatively, others positively. So I love feedback, and it helps me reshape and know if we are doing the right thing or not.
Do you have any particular feedback you've ever gotten that has made a drastic or fundamental change in your life?
Yes. When I was going, can I say two, a positive and a negative?
No, you say 2.5.
2.5. Okay. The first positive feedback was when we opened Transformation Ministry and people did not know me in Copenhagen. The people were like, so there was no female pastors in the country and nobody was actually a leader of a ministry. Then a lady called me from Malmo and she told me, my name is Pastor Habiba. I just want to say that I watch you. I love what you're doing. I'm so happy that there is a woman who has come and started a powerful ministry, finally. And that lady has been my friend from that time on. It pushed me because I was now starting really to fear. It pushed me that even when we are challenged, I know there are women out there who cannot do what I do. And at any level, I can still minister to them. That was good feedback.
That's one. Number two.
And the negative feedback was after my divorce, I actually got sick, that I had an operation on my head. So the bills for the ministry were too much. So we had to give back our auditorium so that we find cheaper means, like maybe gathering in schools once in a while until when I get better. Then one time I ran into a person and I was like, oh my God, it's you, Vananga, it's good to see you. You were a pastor before. So I was like, no, I'm still a pastor, but you are not pastoring. I heard your church is the Kiros. I was like, okay, now this is feedback, because by that time I didn't want to do anything with ministry. I was like, let me first heal Bichi Bichi. I went back online and I said, I will preach online. I'll make noise until when I'm not forgotten.
This person spoke life into you.
Yeah, it was negative, but it was nice feedback. I was like, oh my God, she said you were instead of you are, as if it's a dress you take off.
Moureen, in line with feedback, the first time I got to know you, you were the MC on a convention that was Mr. Ntend Peter organized in Stockholm.
In Stockholm, yeah. Yeah.
Yes, I remember I gave you feedback even without knowing who is giving you feedback.
Oh, yes, I remember.
Feedback. Or now you
Mm.
hosted, you moved me, you stripped me off the ground, say one day this muchala. One, she's very eloquent, articulate,
Okay.
confident, and above all, she's a very beautiful woman who moves the audience.
Thank
So in
you.
that regard, is there some sort of feedback that sometimes makes you think otherwise about the source? Because this stranger comes in and gives feedback, uh, opposite sex doesn't. Is there some sort of feedback that sometimes makes you think otherwise about the source?
There have been feedback which has been provocative. I'm telling you, I'm a female pastor. But with your feedback, it was not like that. First of all, you didn't come to me. You called one of the coordinators who was a gentleman when people are still in the convention and said, I would like to speak to the lady who has been hosting the convention. Then they brought a phone call and said, somebody wants to speak to you. And you said, Nyabo, I would like to thank you for improvising. They told me that you were not even supposed to be the host. You were just going to be on a panel. And but we are happy to have you. You really did this smoothly. And I was like, thank you. That was a professional way to do it. But hey, being a lady in ministry and looking
Point,
like I
point,
am a basket of roots, I
fine
have
point
seen
captured.
things.
Yeah, point captured. This feedback about your body looks and your round body and things like that. But I'm happy to know that you are an open basket to feedback. You know, feedback. My experience has taught me that feedback is one of the hardest nuts to crack in people's lives, regardless
Yeah.
of who they are. And I also learned that it has to be intentionality. You have to be
Hmm.
intentional to get yourself to a level where you can receive feedback. I see
Yeah.
time is against us. I want to appreciate you so much, Nanja Gloria Mubiru. You've kept on all the way. Mkulu Kasile Fred, thank you for keeping on all the way. And the many out there who are watching us, a kind reminder to Ugandans in Oslo and areas around. Right now, as we speak, there is a gathering at Frogner Park, that sculpture park at Maestua. We are celebrating our Ugandan ladies who won the championship, who became champions in the Homeless World Cup that took place yesterday. So there were so many teams, and these young ladies won all their 12 games. Even the finals, they beat Mexico 6-0. So they need to really be celebrated. Take a moment and drop by. And again, I'm reminding you that on the 11th of October, we shall be celebrating our independence, a family day. Our culture in Norway, we look at that day as a family day. Do away with your politics. I mean, don't bring in your people power, noob, NRM, and things like that. It is a family day. So mark that date, and remember, bring a friend with you. Maureen, there is so much. I think we shall have just bring segments of your conversation.
I just have one kalango for us.
One kalango. Now that kalango, if you
Yes.
bring that kalango, lastly, right now, I need you to give parting shots of this conversation, and then you'll also blend in your kalango.
Could you please, I beg your pardon, what did you say?
No, if please give parting shots as we wind up the show, and then at the end, you give your kalango.
Do you think I even understand what a parking shot is?
No, closing remarks. I'm sorry. Closing remarks, I mean.
Okay, a closing remark is
Yes.
I just want to put a disclaimer that this is my story. It does not have to resonate with yours, but you can pick a leaf in certain areas where I conquered and where I was challenged. And to any person who may listen to this later, whether I have not spoken to you in a context that you would want or communicated in the way that you expected me to, I really apologize beforehand. It's all love from here. It's great experience. And just because others are winning a certain way, it doesn't mean that you are doing something wrong. You can gain more effort to push forward, discipline yourself to achieve certain things, or you can continue the way you want life. We all define success in a different way. So I encourage you to please continue to pursue the dream while you're here, or even the dream back home. Whichever journey that you choose to take, put God first, pray about everything, and be consistent on what you desire. Be positive. No matter what the world tries to throw at you, be positive. Everything will be good. So I bless you in the name of our Lord Jesus, and may you stay comforted in the blessings of every day that comes.
No, I was waiting for you to add your Kalanga as well.
And
Kalanga as well.
and the Kalangwe, yes. Yeah, you saw that when we were talking about the financial part, we tried to squeeze it in a few minutes. There is like a life coaching program that is coming. As we had the convention and the embassy supported, people voted that actually we should have these conversations about finances and improving our lives here and back home. So there is a team there led by Mr. Peter Ntende and another wonderful lady called Sharon that I have put up a lot of things together to help you to stay into this alignment of achieving financially. I'll be hosted on one of those shows as well, and we will be able to take you through things of improving yourself. Just stay tuned. You will soon see a trailer. Click on follow and do whatever that you have to do to make sure that you don't miss out on this information firsthand. These are things people don't share. So if you say, I know much, I don't want to talk to Black people, I don't want to, you might miss out. So God bless you. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you so much, Maureen. There is actually, we've only taken half of my questionnaire. Now imagine how full your basket is.
Oh my God, yeah.
So, and I believe it will be much easier for us to digest your very amazing reflections in bits, segments, and segments. So, but for me, this, among other things, this has been my take home from your very amazing story. When I asked you about the anchors of this very deep success, there were 5 things you mentioned. Putting God first, surrounding yourself with right people. I think the measure of right people can vary from person to person, but either way, it remains right people. You said integrity. That's deep, but it's well captured. And then community. To me, I feel, as you spoke or shared, I feel this is something I need to reflect. Maybe a few of them could be already in my basket, but I need to rethink further and see how to tailor them in my life. I love the fact that you've honored the show to first organize very well and prepare. Much as it's your story, but in our time backstage as we organize for the show, I could feel that you really prioritized it off your very busy schedule. Thank you so much. Thank you for walking the talk.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for walking the talk. And above all, I want to thank you for being very honest. And maybe this also speaks to your potential Mr. Right, to know the kind of person she's going to fish out. I love the fact that despite you having your ex-husband in your history, you still sound like you're tasked with the duty of protecting his integrity. Because all the way he was doing this, was doing that, that is a rare attribute. And for that, I want to commend you.
Yeah, thank you so much. And this should go also to the ladies, not to run with the notions that are going about Ozimba Msajja Tewezimba na Msajja. But he had been here more than 18 years and I just came. But us working together, people can testify our life was on a higher speed. We did great things in just a short span because we worked together. Even when we parted, each one of us is still doing great because we built each other. Yeah. So I cannot have a bad story about that.
But that comes from a safe place and a space guided by integrity. Of course, you know what the stories people tell. Tamara, Postpam, Dawn, and those funny stories. So which usually people are not even interested in knowing. Yes, time is definitely against us. But before I close the show, allow me pose 2 questions for you to answer very briefly. The first one would be about your favorite Bible verse, and the last one, you combine them. And the last one would be, about the narrative or this mockery that ladies, that men and ladies ask each other, Chicho, take up meza, what do you put on the table? So as for you, in your previous marriage, what were you putting on the table? So answer those two then.
First of all, I don't have a favorite Bible verse. I am a Bible scholar, and I read the Bible and imply scriptures according to the season and what I'm going through. So this season, I may be reading a certain book or different scriptures, and then later on, the season changes. I could be in a season of drought, and I need to have scriptures concerning harvest, fruitfulness, and believing and hoping. So I don't have a favorite Bible scripture. What I do have is a favorite Savior. My God is enough, and He shows up in every word that is written in the scripture. Number two, the sinner favorite scripture. And lastly, about what you bring on the table, I think many people ask, it's been something which is making a lot of noise. It's like a referendum. A referendum is the biggest scam you can ever be a part of, because it goes with the majority even when they're choosing wrong. For example, the UK choosing out of the EU. And then later they want to come back because they voted wrongly. They followed the majority. So there are so many things online which sound true, but actually they are very, very misleading. For example, what you bring on the table. Where did the table come from? According to the biblical setting, a man, he is the leader. Whether he has something or not, he is the leader. So find out who you are and what you need from a man, then choose that man. Because once you choose that man, you're supposed to submit and follow his leadership. And also a man, find who you are, find out who you are, and find a woman who will be the helper of your vision, of who you are, of your children, so that you don't ever feel the need to stand and ask her, what do you bring on the table? Because it's you who chose her, and she will help you with whatever you're trying to build. So, like I said, it's important that all people, especially in Europe, contribute something to the building of a household. Because by the system, we are all required to work towards our pension. In the system, we are all always required to work in order to keep our permanent residence or indefinite leave to stay. So if you are earning and both of you are leaving in the morning, it does not sit well that the other person is just taking all the burdens of the household. They're like, okay, I'm just a woman. You can supplement, and that should be an arrangement between two people, depending on who takes what responsibility. There are men who say, me, I don't want your money. And there are those who say, I am drowning, I need help. For example, when we started off, my ex-husband was not earning well because he was still a student. So I would earn my little, and then we put it together. When we started living together, we did not have a sofa, we did not have a bed. We slept on my bed cover for the first month until when he could earn. Time came when we were making a lot of money, and I mean a lot. So I was the accountant of the house, and he would bring everything because I was truthful and transparent in the little. So all his bank cards, I used to have it, and I would plan our vacations, the kids' stuff, the salaries to the employees, and what to give him. That was also a problem because later I would be like, yeah, you didn't buy me flowers. And we're like, but you're the one with the money. I'm like, okay, get your money, please be thoughtful. But it depends on the seasons. So one time you can be bringing in 20, the other one 80. And this can be also emotionally, not just financially. And other times the other person may have the mental capacity to cover you when you're weak, when you're down, and they bring in the 90, so you bring in the 10. So you learn the rhythm of how you want to operate depending on who you chose to be your helper and who she chose to be her leader. That's it. The table should be burnt. There should not be any table in the conversation.
As the joke goes, I'll even take this in Uganda. ayogera Yesu zalina emmotoka bbiri ayimiridde bulungi financial naye akugamba nti akkiriza okuba nti alina okubeera submissive When Nakamate, you don't even have a job, or back when you in Mukaga, you say you don't want to be submissive. Kali, everything was up. But
nakamate bajja kubuna Maria nze kambabuulire.
Onagamba wali ayimiridde yeetengeredde naye agamba akkiriza nti omukyala alina okuba submissive. Nakamate bakuba myezi 6 omulimu owaninga essente ezisasuka $300 naye tojja kuba submissive. Kale nno owunyiza Mukama.
Submissiveness is a biblical foundation. It's as simple as that. It's not
about For now, I want to commend every single one of you out there for the love, for the time you've taken off. I want to wind up with my earlier remarks as we open the show, where I added my voice to condoling with the family and friends of the late Tamima, 34-year-old lady who was stabbed to death while at working night shift here in Norway. Wow. It was very saddening, very, very saddening. And the little coward that took his life had very background that we understood that the authorities were not shocked with this sort of background. And it's so funny that these things happen. But my only appeal to generally the leaders in Norway at different levels, but those that implement or make the laws, that Norway is known to be one of the safest countries in the world. But until these policies that curb such acts of crime are implemented and lived by, the words safety and inclusion might remain only propositional. So it's an appeal to the authorities and leaders that you ought to reaffirm the words safety and inclusion, because it was both about racism and act of terror, one that will be lived to be remembered in Norwegian history. So it was very saddening, and a kind reminder to all of you immigrants out there that today is on the 8th to be the official voting for the parliamentary members here in Norway. And that speaks to you that you have a right to vote because you are a citizen. So as we celebrate the red passports we have and use them for all sorts of things, you ought to remember that the gift granted to you by the state to give you citizenship comes with an embedded right and privilege to impact leadership of the country. Statistics from the voting session of 2021 reflected that 50% of immigrants who have voting rights never voted. And that speaks to you of how much we throw away our privileges and rights. And on the other side, we come crying. Try to do the least you can. That's the bare minimum for you as a citizen. Just vote wisely and, of course, well thoughtfully, and leave the rest to the leaders. But otherwise, it is both pointless and hopeless for you to complain about the system. We don't even vote. But you're very attentive and very updated on whatever is happening in Uganda. Of course, with due respect, I want to believe that you still have equal obligations to your country where you live, just as you do have in your country where you came from. And I will strongly assert, with no fear of contradiction, that you will only live or implement or impact as much if you don't ground yourself where you live. There is this passion and loyalty and patriotism that comes with you wanting to impact your country where you came from. But for as long as you're here, you've made a family here, if you don't push to see changes in this country and you want to complain about the services that are not up to standard, then it is both hopeless but also misguiding to those that believe in you. That's my final take. But just want to remind us that we share a common obligation for making impacts in whatever we do. Our local communities, immigrant communities, all you have to do is if you cannot do anything, if you don't feel in position of doing anything, at least speak positively about the work that is being done. Just at least shut up. Let that be your input. Just shut up than bad mouthing the good works of what your leaders are doing. Thank you so much to my team, Euroforum Management. Thank you so much for the work we put together. We want to sign out for now. This has been a very long show, but I also believe there is so much to take home when you review it, and we shall also take clips which shall be posted on TikTok for you to digest. Moureen, thank you so much for your time. You're highly appreciated. Bye-bye for now.
Bye, thank you.
Welcome to Euroforum UG, where we address Ugandans from Europe, USA, Asia, Africa, Australia, and all over the globe. We share experiences, opinions, and expertise on current affairs, educative lifestyle, religion, and family matters. Follow, subscribe, and like our social media platforms: Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok at Euroforum UG. You can also join our live shows every weekend on our social media platforms. For more information, visit our social media platforms or email us at euroforumug@gmail.com or WhatsApp us on +4740 574040. Euroforum UG, communicating with peers.